Hello everyone, my name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you so much for joining me and welcome to a special 100th episode of Music News Roundup. So this is where I like to corral and bring together all the best news from the past week into one place, making it easy for you guys to digest. Can't believe we are already at 100 episodes of this. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. I know I'm certainly enjoying putting these together for you. Today is Friday, March 25th of 2022, and for this particular episode, we've got music news on or related to Motley Crue, Def Leppard, Whitesnake, Skid Row, Anthrax, Heart, The Fix, U2, and so much more. So before we dive into all of this though, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please click the button. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things help support my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, by subscribing, you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's going on in the world of music, just like this with the 100th episode of Music News Roundup. All right, and for this episode here, we've got a supercharged one for you. Kicking things off, didn't think we could get much bigger news than we did last week with Def Leppard, but in a surprise announcement, Skid Row has announced a brand new singer. So they have parted ways with ZP Thart. This guy sang for the band for the last 6 years, but they never released an album with him. And so now the band has announced new vocalist Erik Grönwall. Apologize if I'm saying that wrong. He's the former Swedish vocalist for the band Heat. Certainly a great vocalist in and of his own right. Looking forward to hearing what he's got to do with the band. He will be singing on the band's brand new album. So not sure exactly when things started to maybe not work with ZP Thart, but they must have kept all that under wraps as they've actually completed recording the album. The album itself, they've even gone as far as announcing it is called The Gang's All Here, and it is due October 14th. Even better news though is that the first single, the title track, is out today. And this one here is a burner. It's really got me excited for the new album. I cannot wait to hear more from this new album here. So big news, very excited for this one myself. Now, as a follow-up to last week's big story about Def Leppard announcing their brand new album, more information on this has come out. So the album again is going to be produced by Ronan McHugh, who produced their last album, the self-titled 2015 release. Personally, I really like that album, so this was good news for me. The band said they found it very easy to work remote. In fact, they liked it far better than working together in the studio. They said, working comfortable from home remotely allowed them to do things on their own schedule instead of sitting around waiting for another member to do something in a studio. I can understand how that is, so that's good. They also said that they probably will not go back to the standard way of recording and will continue to do this. Now, this album here took 2 years to record, but in the length of the 7 years that we waited on this thing, if they can put albums out faster in a 2-year time frame like that, then certainly I'm all for them working remotely. And so, first single, Kick, which is also out now, that was actually the last song written for the album. The album was considered complete with 14 songs on it, and then Phil Collen, who wrote Kick, presented it to the band and everyone agreed. They loved it, it had to be on the album, etc. So they did. This to me suggests at least that the album itself is probably not that traditional 70s sound that the song Kick is. It's probably more of a traditional Def Leppard sounding. And so I have, pretty high hopes here that we are going to get an album that sounds like Def Leppard. And then we've got this, 70s era glam rock sounding Kick thrown in for good measure on it. Also of note today, the music video for Kick is out. So a lot of cool stuff dropping today. All right, next up we've got Whitesnake, and despite them going out and doing a farewell tour, and David Coverdale, who is now 70, he said he plans to still keep recording, so it's only the touring that he is done with. And apparently we can expect a brand new album after the completion of the farewell tour. And so this would be the first new material that new bassist Tanya O'Callahan gets to record on, and certainly it'll be exciting to hear what she has to offer and bring to the band. Okay, Motley Crue bassist Nikki Sixx made a guest appearance on American Idol last Sunday, March 20th, and he said he supports the show as it gives lots of classic songs new life to them where they're reinterpreted by these younger artists on the show. And so if you're interested in checking that out, you can check out a clip of that. It's now streaming on YouTube if you missed it first go around. And then we've got Anthrax, who have finally gone back into the studio and begun working on their new album. It's been 6 years since their last album, For All Kings, in 2016. And so the new album sessions did begin way back in 2019, but they stopped when COVID happened and didn't want to resume until everyone could be in one room together. Likewise, they didn't want to release an album until they could properly tour for it. So I'm glad to see things are finally moving forward again, that they're back in the studio. Maybe we'll even get lucky and get a brand new Anthrax album this year. But 2022 is certainly looking pretty amazing for new releases, and especially long-time ones that we've really been waiting on. All right, and despite Heart guitarist Nancy Wilson heading out on the road as Nancy Wilson's Heart, and this of course is without sister Ann Wilson, when asked about 2023, Ann Wilson has speculated that Heart will return and that both sisters will celebrate the 50th anniversary. And so let's certainly hope that they can patch things up and make this happen. I'd love to see the two sisters back together out on the road. I'd really like a brand new album. Don't know about that, but I bet we get to see them live. And U2 reportedly have a scripted TV series in development at Netflix. So not a documentary, but actors and everyone playing them. J.J. Abrams is developing the script. U2 have approved of the project, and the band is expected to be involved with the project as well. I'm assuming sort of as executive producers or something along that line. All right, in concert news, we got a whole bunch of things happening here. Monster Magnet have had to cancel their tour due to a back injury by frontman Dave Windorf. Then we've got Sacred Reich having to cancel a bunch of opening shows for Sepultura due to frontman Phil Ryan being hospitalized for a non-COVID related respiratory illness. Phil Ryan also suffers from asthma. They're not exactly sure what's going on, but apparently that is just going to take some time for him to heal up. Then Greta Van Fleet have had to postpone their US tour as guitarist recovers from pneumonia. So a lot of sick guys here. Hopefully they all get better soon. Now we got some tours that were just announced, and this lineup here is pretty cool. Rob Zombie, Mudvayne, Static X, Powerman 5000 have all partnered up for the Freaks on Parade tour for a 21-city US summer tour. Then we got the Dead Daisies heading out for a summer European tour, and they've announced that their new album will come out in August. And then Lollapalooza 2022 is going to return. Headliners announced are Metallica and Green Day. I'm sure there's others, but those two we care about. The festival will return to Chicago from July 28th through 31st, and there are over 170 bands performing at it. And then also back on the road, we've got Aerosmith, Michael Schenker Group, and Ministry, among many others. There were just too many to even list this go round. Lots of bands heading back to the road, which is really great news. Okay, new songs that have just been released besides the brand new Skid Row track, The Gang's All Here, that we just talked about. One that might get overlooked that I wanted to shine a little bit of light on. Talus, featuring Mr. Big bassist Billy Sheehan. This was his first band before joining David Lee Roth's band. And so this, they've got a new song out. It also features the late Phil Naro on vocals. Unfortunately, he passed away just following the completion of recording this album. It's been 37 years since they've released anything, so it's great to have something new. It's kind of bittersweet though, because unfortunately the frontman has passed away, so will not be anything from that lineup, at least going forward. The new song Inner Mounting Flame is out now. It's also expected to be on their forthcoming album. All right, album release schedule. We have 11 releases to talk about here. As I mentioned, this is a supercharged episode. Lots of great news dropping here. April 1st, Killing Joke, Lords of Chaos EP, first new material in 7 years. It's a 4-track EP which features 2 new songs and 2 re-recordings of older songs. Then on 4/29, we've got Neil Young, the official release series box set album, or box set of albums featuring numbers 13, 14, 20, and 21. And so that breaks down as Hawks and Dove from 1980, Reactor 1981, This Note's for You in 1988, and El Dorado 1989. Now that's a Japanese only released EP that's being boxed up as part of this, so that's sort of a first time release for a lot of people. I've got a copy on CD that I got back in the day, and this is being released on both CD and vinyl. So good news for both collectors there. All right, April 29th, we got Robin Trower, No More Worlds to Conquer, 26th solo album from the former Procol Harum guitarist. Then on May 6th, this one's an interesting one, Stoney and Meatloaf. You've heard it right. Meatloaf had an album out before he did his famous Bat Out of Hell. This is called Everything Under the Sun, the Motown Recordings, 1971 album fusing R&B, gospel, rock, funk. First time getting released on CD. It is a 2 CD set collecting up everything together, so more than just the album itself. So it is a 28 track collection. All right, on May 6th, we got Timothy B. Schmidt, Day by Day, 7th solo album by the Eagles bassist, recorded during some time off during the pandemic, as a lot of these artists have done. First single, Simple Man, is out now. All right, May 6th, we've got Graham Nash, For Beginners, Wild Tales. This features both of his albums being recorded live in their entirety. Then on May 13th, we've got Michael Nesmith, and the hits just keep on coming. This is a 50th anniversary expanded reissue of his 1972 classic album, featuring 4 alternate versions added to it. Then on May 20th, James LaBrie, Beautiful Shade of Grey, 4th solo album from the Dream Theater frontman, of course, and first single, Devil in Drag, is out now. This one here I'm super excited about as well. June 3rd, The Fix, Every 5 Seconds, 13th studio album, 10 years since their last album, Beautiful Friction, from 2012. And then this features 10 tracks on it. 3 songs are currently streaming, so you can get a real taste for this thing, including Closer, which is really good and has a nice classic sound to it. I'm loving that song, along with the other 2 that had been previously released from there. Okay, and June 10th, Michael Monroe, I Live Too Fast to Die Young, 10th solo album from the former Hanoi Rocks vocalist, and follow-up to One Man Gang in 2019. Now the band that's featured on this is really good. Steve Conti on guitar from Company of Wolves, great glam metal band from back in the day. Rich Jones on guitar, who's played with Ginger from the Wild Hearts. Sammy Yaffa on bass, fellow Hanoi Rocks musician, and Carl Rockfist on drums from Danzig. So quite the lineup there. And then the aforementioned October 14th release for Skid Row in their brand new 6th studio album, The Gang's All Here, with brand new vocalist Eric Gronwall from formerly of Swedish band Heat. So a lot of great stuff there. Can't wait for all of that. All right, and in closing, congratulations are in order to the Red Hot Chili Peppers, who are getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Their ceremony will be held on March 31st, adjacent to Amoeba Records, which seems very fitting for them to be getting a star next to. If you go to that record store, you'll now be able to see their star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And then congratulations to the band Ghost, whose new album Impera has landed at number 2 on the Billboard 200 album chart, selling 70,000 albums, of which 62,500 of which were physical sales, and then 7,500 of those were equivalent sales, ones that added up from over 9 million streams. It is crazy that it takes over 9 million streams just to add up to 7,500 albums. Imagine if all of those streams are actually counted, people checking out an album like that. It is a shame what streaming has done to the sales of albums. I love streaming, don't get me wrong. I do both. I buy my physical and streaming, but it is a shame because once upon a time, bands could live off of album sales. They can no longer do that. They must rely solely on touring. Okay, and albums that are released today on Friday, March 25th, there are 7 here. Dave Grohl is releasing Dream Widow. This is a metal EP that he recorded for his movie Studio 666. Dream Widow was the fictitious band in the movie, and it's getting a digital release here. Apparently a physical release will happen somewhere down the road later this year. And then Joan Jett, Change Up, first ever acoustic album featuring 25 tracks. This one is a digital release only, so this is where streaming comes in nicely for artists that want to do this and release this or get something out sooner, or us hearing our singles released by like Skid Row and Def Leppard sooner. Streaming does have its positives. Michael Romeo, War of the Worlds Part 2. Then we've got Reckless Love, Turbo Rider. The Flower Kings, By Royal Decree. John Sloman, Two Rivers, former Uriah Heep vocalist. This one is digital only this week, and then it'll get a physical release on April 1st. And there is also a Leslie West tribute album with a ton of amazing guests on it. Do check it out. And there you go. That is Music News Roundup episode number 100. And certainly check back every Friday for brand new episodes. And if you've enjoyed this, consider sharing it out on social media. I would greatly appreciate it. All right, everyone. Have a great day. Have a good weekend. Take care, and I'll talk to y'all real soon. Bye-bye.